internets, and welcome to this video where today I will be attempting to build a competitor to the Mercedes CLC, mainly because it's a car produced today with an inline-6 engine, which is very, very rare actually, far rarer than I think it should be that's the case. But anyway, I just decided, why not try something a bit different. Now, I believe it is a 4 or 5 seater car, so choosing some light, tiny convertible won't really do the job, as will the supercars not be suited to the job. We do have 2010 sedans and coupes though, and whatever else. So I think something from this family, either that or we could go here. Something along these lines. I think this is probably our best chance of getting it to work, so that's what we'll decide upon. Now, here's where corners are cut. No, I think we want a suspension system that will keep it comfortable. However, we don't want to spend ridiculous amounts of money on it. I think I still want to keep it somewhat affordable. Where I want to spend the money is on the interior. So, I don't know. The body can be aluminium to save a bit of weight, make it more efficient. If that's possible, we will do it. It is mass producible, by the way. We'll go no space frame. Could go ladder, but I don't think that would be the same. I don't think it would give the same kind of driving experience as a unitary. Or we could go with a semi. I think this is semi-space frame. I think this is mass producible. Yes, indeed it is. So it's basically 2 subframes, and this doesn't have subframes. What is the comfort difference though, I wonder? So if we go to a glued aluminium, which is I think basically what a space frame is, or semi-space frame rather, the comfort level, I can't directly compare it, but it seems to be heavier and less comfortable. I don't know. I have to come back to it because it makes a compelling case, but just the standard unitary to me does seem like a good option. If I get the material choice right, that seems like a good option to use. We'll go with... I can also use these materials, which might be a bit softer actually. I mean, aluminium isn't the firmest material in the world, let's be honest, but if that is designed or potentially derived from race cars, then it's not going to be good at providing the more luxurious experience we're looking for. Now, I am competing with the AMG Mercedes CLC. And are we going to have it front-wheel drive? No, I think I'll go with all-wheel drive. This is going to be an all-wheel drive inline-6, I think. It sounds ridiculous. Or maybe I could do a V6 all-wheel drive. That could work, actually, Instead of going with a inline-6 rear-wheel drive, but it is supposed to be a luxury vehicle, I hear you cry. Well, it'll still kind of be one. I think struts front and double wishbone rear for the time being is a good suspension setup. It's fully independent all round, even if it's not the best suspension, it is still pretty good. We could go with an inline-5. Inline-6 though, I don't know, it's not very common to say it's not very common to have a front-wheel drive inline-6. Although it has been done, it is possible. I think as long as I don't exceed 2.5 litres, I should be okay. I mean, that is very, very tight for space though. If I make it smaller to about 2 litres, we're trying to get 400 horsepower though from this. We're going to need a pretty big turbo on here to get that kind of power per litre, and it's going to break down over time because it'll be so heavily stressed. Oh well. Could be worse. We don't want cast iron, actually. Aluminium. The market probably won't like me for it, but yeah. We're going to go with 5 valves per cylinder because, well, yeah. As I was saying, it's a small engine and we want to make the power. Why am I even bothering with transverse? Well, I guess it gives us more interior room. That's something. I wouldn't make it front-wheel drive with all this power. It would go with all-wheel drive, definitely. But, yeah, it's not going to be the conventional longitudinal. It's like a really twisted skyline, I guess you could say. A skyline combined with an Audi, which is not where I was thinking of taking this at all when I started the video, but hey, if that's the way it's going, that's the way it's going. We'll go with the turbo. The best presets I can. Direct injection, actually. Single point, no, we want per cylinder. Remember, it is a high-end car, so we can afford at least a few high-end things on it. And it's a smaller engine, so it's not like there's masses of metal going into manufacturing this thing. It is still a reasonable size. I say that. For 400 horsepower to come out of this is not really what I would call reasonable, but anyway. Regular fuel, bypass valves, so we don't have to have a hugely massive exhaust, so to speak. High flow freeway, and I think we'll go with some mufflers. Keep it nice and quiet and refined. Okay, so I have magically made 270 horsepower out of this engine. I honestly think something needs to change because at 2 litres, I just don't think it's enough to make 400 horsepower safely, let's say, without huge turbo lag. It lags as it is. I mean, this is a pretty well sorted engine. I'll just let you hear it briefly. I mean, as I was saying, it's quite well sorted, but that turbo, you can see it's getting quite hot, and it's having to work so hard. I could probably stick it on premium fuel, to be honest, but that just seems like a cop-out to me when there's better ways of making the power. So, we have 24% fuel efficiency. I wonder how actually efficient it is, though. I'm going to develop the rest of the vehicle now. I will go back to the engine. I might go with an inline 5 or a flat 4 or something I'm not sure of yet. We want a coupe, I think. Yes, I think this is probably the best way to go. Now, if we could bring the front back. Oh, yes. Excellent. Now, if we could widen the track. We want to give it this sporty stance and keep the emphasis on comfort as well. We don't want that to go, but we want the overall feel of the car to also be somewhat sporty, because this is going to be my VGA, or whatever we call it, DVI. Yeah, I'm just coming up with these computing terms because I literally have no imagination. So, that's the basic body design done, I think. We could do that. That brings it into a bit more of a muscle car, though. As it is like that, that is more of a European coupe. We can go and change the colour, but we won't want to white now. Ooh, I know these are technically 90s headlights, but I wonder how they could be made to work. Solving all your queries that you obviously have. Nah, I wouldn't say they're gonna work. We'll go all-wheel drive, and there is our inline 6. So I think if I go with a V6, that should solve my problems. I should also go with twin turbos with a V6, which may solve the lag problem slightly. As for size, I should be able to make it bigger as well. So yeah, it's quite obviously the obvious choice. However, Ooh, a V8. That would be interesting. I'm sorry, I think this is where the money has to go. We have to go with a low displacement V8 because, yeah, I'm going to admittedly go with less overhead, what do you call it? Less overhead valves, that's it. Because I want to save a bit of money, but still, if we could go with a 2.5 litre V8, let's say, that's gonna be a good use of my money, because I say so. Seriously, also, it'll be a bit shorter. Because remember, it's kind of not 6 cylinders long, it's 4. So even with the extra displacement, I think it's still a shorter engine. Oh, it's mounted transversely though, isn't it? I've just thought, like, V8s are so ordinarily mounted longitudinally that when you see one like this mounted transversely, it's such an odd choice. Anyway, how much power are we making? Oh, we're making a bit more. So let's see. Just a bit of compression tweaking here. What can I get? 310. Okay. Now, that's good. That's good. Very good. Still not showing it though. Tyres are not matching up to my sporty stance, but that doesn't matter right now because we need to choose a grille. How are we going to compete with Mercedes here? I mean, not that I would say modern Mercedes are exactly pretty, but nor are my designs. I used this on a Super Mini and it worked, okay? So I'm going to try the same thing, see if I have luck with a premium saloon. If that doesn't work, or a premium coupe, I guess. If that doesn't work, then I'll probably cry. No, it looks okay. Anyway, we need a 9-speed automatic or advanced auto. Indeed. That's what the Mercedes has, so that's what we'll use. Or we could use the manual. Defy expectation. We could go with a dual clutch actually. Less gears, but why would you need that? Why would you need 9 gears? Let's be honest. I don't see a need for it at all. We'll go with a set of open differentials to begin with. Remember, we're running more wheel drive compared to the Mercedes, so we're going to need a bit of cost saving. If it asks for more grippy differentials, I will put them on, but yeah, this value's on value. I don't know. I'll probably put it in horrendous language, but I think it's big on value, small on looks. That's all. That's basically its slogan. We'll go with some medium compound tyres. This is where the fun stuff begins. 235 front. 255 rear, perhaps. 255 rear does match up with the wheel arch quite well. Just make that slightly wider. There we go. Come on. There we go. Do the same expansion with the front. We could go with 255 all round, to be honest. There we go. So much traction from this system. I can make the tyres narrower though if I so need to. I'm guessing this was made for more of a Asian car, like Korean or Japanese, so I could be wrong there, but I'm guessing it's from more of that background, so hence why it was designed for narrower tyres. It would never have needed a performance variant. Mind there is Lexus, and they make a few performance cars, despite being a Japanese company, so yeah, country Lexus. Yeah, let's try that. We've got 17-inch wheels, seem big enough to me. Vented discs, 3 piston on the front, and solid discs, 3 piston on the rear. quite advanced, mainly on the pistons. The actual brakes themselves are tiny. They will get bigger, don't worry. No under tray. We'll go 5 standard seats, yes. Or premium even. I was saying I want to spend my money here. There's only so far I can actually go before it really becomes too ridiculous. I've got a V8. A tiny V8 even. How on earth are people going to service these? Like, you'll try and get your pistons out. They'll be so tiny though. They'll be the size of a micro machine when you actually do try and change them. But then I guess they have 1 litre 4 cylinders, so it's not as microscopic as you might think. Even if it is very microscopic. We'll go premium sat-nav or infotainment. I think infotainment. Power steering. Electric variable. We might need launch control, we might not. It's an all-wheel drive car, so who knows. Standard safety. Do we want active suspension? I think hydro pneumatic, to be honest. Although Citroens and Mercedes are different companies, I think hydro pneumatic gives a very good ride. I think for ride quality it's probably the best around, and to keep the sportiness of it around, we'll put active sway bars on. It comes up very well as a utility sport premium. That surprises me. And they actually have a lot of money to spend on the car, so it's not completely out of reach for them either. It's heavy, but not as ridiculously heavy as you might expect. I mean, remember, this is a all-wheel drive car, so for it to be this heavy while still retaining relatively wide tyres, that's not bad. Maybe I should go with a bigger V8. No. Yes, no, yes, no. I don't know. My mind is confusing me. I think they like the 9 gears. However, would they like a dual clutch more? No. Oh. Yeah, so that's what I was meaning though about 9 gears. They like having an automatic, however, it's just, there's not really a need for it. The gain to be had is so small that I question why you would go and add so many gears. Okay, I understand you want a 6-speed, at least. I can understand that, but why you would go with 9, it's just a bit too excessive, really. If I just tune a 6-speed automatic well, I can get what I want from it. So next up, we have the suspension to come back to. Oh wait, why has that figure gone down so much? Wait, again, back to here. Set the suspension up. Yeah, Utility Sport Premium, they like that. Sport. They like normal. Yeah, that makes sense, actually. Kind of a balance between sport and comfort. Lower. I think I'm building an Audi here. Unintentionally, mind, I'm building an Audi. 104.6, I think, was kind of the golden area. It was the best the market was. So, yeah, leave it at that. I would say maybe the tyres are a little too small. They might fill out the arches better if they were just a little bigger. To 665. There we go. And we could make the wheels bigger as well. I'm not sure if they would like that, though. No, they wouldn't. They want tiny wheels. 17 seem pretty good on it, though. Honestly. There's much smaller gains once you go below 17 inches. Once you go above 17 inches, there's not the massivest of drops, but yeah. It's really about getting it to look okay. It doesn't look bad with 17s, so it will stay on 17s. They are slightly cheaper, and they might improve the utility of it. They won't be as comfortable, though. I think Hard Long Life should do a good enough job. Really, just hard tyres that will emphasise sportiness or something along those lines. Differentials, okay. So we can have a manual locker. They like that, actually. 106.2. I'm guessing they like the manual locker because they like using it as a tractor. It sounds ridiculous, but if they want to use a V8 Super Saloon as a tractor, I'm not going to stop them. Also, imagine getting your V8 Super Saloon and you see Eco Max or Econo Max on the side of the tyres. Yeah. Doesn't inspire confidence, does it? Anyway, we have to do something to this engine. Oh, we can go with dual exhaust. Does that free up a bit of power? It has. So, if I can get just the right size, how will they react to the chassis changing? Because, remember, I was saying earlier about the chassis. Could be better. Potentially. 108.3, yeah, they like that. And it's cheaper, 108.7, 110.5. Check the price as well. The price is going down, remember? Yeah, they don't like it without any corrosion protection, as you would think. But galvanized steel there works quite well. Mind the weight of a vehicle being 1,800 kilograms now. Yeah, it feels like 100 kilograms heavier. Mind, it is a V8 with all-wheel drive. It should be able to move that rate without too much trouble, but yeah. I have tried to build a Mercedes competitor. I've basically ended up with an Audi S4 or RS4. I'm sorry about that, okay? Mind, I don't think it is naturally aspirated anymore. So, yeah, I think there may kind of be a gap in the market now for a V8 all-wheel drive thing. If we go 110.5, it's rarely that this performs better. Oh, 111.1. And it is better there. 82.5, though. It costs more. It costs more to have the semi-space frame, and I don't think it's worth it. Honestly, my company has to cheap out to kind of get this car to be affordable. A 5-litre V8 is not going to be a cheap engine to add to your car, especially when the car is a luxury car like this. The price can just skyrocket so easily, and that's why I think we need to cut corners where we can to try and save a bit of money. The suspension is an example, as is the chassis here that I'm working with. If we go with partial aluminium, see how that works. 110.7, yeah, they like that. And it's putting more and more weight on, but the weight doesn't seem to be holding it back too much. If we go corrosion resistant steel, 110.7. Oh, they like treated steel. Yes, having a brain moment there. And 83.8 versus 83.3. Yeah. So I think because of the balance of weight and cost, partial aluminium is probably the best choice here. Already we've got a car that's heavy, but it looks good enough, and the suspension is good enough, let's say. 110.7. 116 point something. Double wishbone is expensive. 113.8 versus So, double wishbone all around, I think. I don't want to cut too many corners, but I think that's one corner I can afford to cut. So, yeah. Technically, I guess it's not corner cutting, although I should be on double wishbone multi-link for best results. It depends. I mean, if you're calling the Mercedes, I don't know what it's got, but if it is a standard McPherson strut multi-link, then I've actually got better front suspension but worse back suspension. It's just the way things are, but it's a good balance of the suspension setup, so to me it works. Anyway, where are we? Do we need better tyres? No, we don't. They don't want better tyres at all. We need longer gear ratios, that's for sure. Because this car ain't going slow. It is probably faster than a lot of older supercars. Almost 190 miles per hour. But it's so slow to get there. Why on earth is that? Oh, the automatic probably won't be helping. Why does it take 6.5 seconds to get to 60? I don't understand this. It's 4.5 for the Mercedes, apparently. Is it that it really needs more gears? No. If anything, less gears actually help it for acceleration, it seems, but I don't know. Is it a dual clutch? That helps. I guess the car is just too heavy. So the Mercedes is still heavier. So why on earth isn't our V8 powered thing? Oh, maybe that's why. We didn't have all-wheel drive selection. Oh well. It's still not ridiculous for weight compared to the Mercedes. The Mercedes is within 20 kilos of it, actually. Would you believe it? Yes, it's about 20 kilos less, but it's barely the amount tipping the scales that will get people to lose their minds. It's still slow to 60, though. That's what really gets me, and the brakes are going to add a bit more weight still. 6.7. Oh dear. This is not looking good. It's not looking good for the little car that could. 6.2 shows a brief glimmer of hope there that it may be able to do something quicker. However, yeah, it's just a glimmer of hope, because besides that, there's no signs of this going quick whatsoever. I mean, I don't know. It still excels in its automation class, but it's a 2-ton vehicle. Can we bring it back in terms of luxury, I guess? Because the comfort's actually not too bad. If we could bring it back in terms of comfort, tyres don't actually affect it that much. 104.9, 105.2, 105.6, 106.1, 106.6, 106.9. Oh, yeah. I have limits, okay? I have limits to what I'm going to throw 400 horsepower through. And I'm not going to throw 400 horsepower through the wheels of something that can barely handle it. However, the skinny tyres of 225s are hopefully good enough. I don't know. I think the wide comfort might have got ever so slightly better by the narrower tyres. the 6.4, that is worse than it was before. However, I'm easily able to dial up the spacing and get some more, oh dear, get some more performance out of it. So, no, 45. It's just so slow to 60. I don't know why. It takes 2 seconds longer than the Mercedes. Is it because it's got launch control? If I get rid of that, the market is not pleased, but is the acceleration? No, the acceleration stays exactly the same, as you would expect from an all-wheel drive vehicle. Is it fundamentally two-wheel? Yes, it is fundamentally two-wheel drive. That's got us a good amount of speed from it, okay. We're still behind. I think if we go with 7 speed, 8. Yeah, what I said earlier, I don't know. It doesn't want a dual clutch. Yeah, when you start referring to the people who buy your car as it, you know you've lost it as a company. 5.8. 5.5. Okay, yeah. So 5.5 is not bad in the slightest, but not good either. And it is over 2 tons, okay. That is a refreshing piece of knowledge, and I don't know why. It will do 180, apparently. If you dare push it that far, it will do 180. I probably wouldn't dare. Do we want less rear seats? That can be a good way to save money and increase markets, and indeed in this case it is. Nope. 122.7, 122.9. They prefer premium sat-nav. Okay. So, we don't have a proper infotainment system. It's kind of a cut price version. That's what we include in our cars. Safety. Maybe they want some more safety. No. So, 122.9. Compromise on safety, nah. They're past that. 122. Yeah, it's no sofa to drive. We can say that now. How about air suspension? How about adaptive? Or active sport even? No, I think it's just that hydro pneumatic can be quite sporty actually, yet still maintain good hydro pneumatic can be quite sporty yet still maintain good comfort. I don't know. 49.3 there. 120.8. Okay. So it lost 4 thoughts. Although it has randomly got lighter this time round. Oh dear. Oh dear. We have 49.3 on air suspension and 52, yeah. Normal. 49.3. Okay, so that is pretty tall off the ground for what this car is. And they don't like that. Yep. I think they just like it to be balanced. Practicality, it doesn't have much, but it's a coupe. What do you expect? If you're in the market for something practical, then why on earth are you buying a coupe? Tell me that. I know it's not the best for market value, but who can resist that low slung look that I'm going for right now? We'll go... Could go with utility. No. It's sport utility. Wait, if this is utility sport premium, doesn't that mean it's technically an SUV? 121.1, 2, 3. There we go. And we could go and put the wheels bigger, but I don't think the market would like that. Which is weird, because rubber bands and everything seem to be the fashion accessory. Tyre rubber bands, as they call them. 120.7. Ooh, carbon fibre wheels. Can they be mass produced though? Probably not. Magnesium? No, you don't like it. They like alloys enough, I think. How about changing to opens? No. Still set on the manual lockers, which is strange, but you know. Again, as I was saying, I think they're going to use the V8 Sports Saloon as tractors, essentially. So, yeah, you know, probably why they like this engine, actually. It's just a good, strong pulling unit to pull all their trailers across the fields. Okay. Slightly more comfortable than your regular tractor as well, although not much. And where are we? 211 kilos. I wonder what the weight balance is. 56 front, that's actually not as bad as I expected it to be. 1975 kilograms, it's ever so slightly lighter than the Mercedes even. I'm surprised, probably because I went to premium sat-nav, and it kind of freed up a bit of space there. Oh dear. Do we want to downforce under train? No. This is where it gets interesting. Semi-clad does make it more comfortable. So I think I'll have that on in the hope that with my further adjustments, the car will get to use it effectively. Medium compound. No, you don't. You still don't want them. I'm just a salesman for tyres, seriously. And this is where the weight of a car truly gets out of control, but where I have to truly keep the weight of a car under control at the same time. It's quite a weird conundrum, you know, having said that. 4 piston brakes. Don't want to go too far. So the millimeterage is pretty big. The millimeterage is pretty strong with this one. Mind, I guess it would have to be. 335 millimeters on 4 piston front vented discs. How else are you going to slow this monster down? We need a set of wheels. They look better. How about some of these? No. I don't know. Honestly, I think these ones. So, should we go bigger? I think that's the question. The problem is now we need to be bigger. Now for certain. Wait, it makes the market go up? Really? I wouldn't have expected that. Oh, maybe it always did. Maybe I was just reluctant to do such. Oh no, 19 seems to be the limit. Fair enough. You know, makes sense that the market would want bigger wheels, I guess, if they think they look cool. I don't. Well, I kind of do. I think they look cool, but I wouldn't want them on my actual car. But hey, it's not about what I'm driving, it's about what they're paying to drive. If they're paying, then they can choose whatever ridiculous options they want. And it's not my point to judge them, really. 6.7. How is this so slow? It feels like in a weird way the transmission is deliberately making it slow. But I don't know, sometimes these automation figures don't live up to themselves in BeamNG. How much power is it actually putting out? So it is putting out 436. I'm just guessing that it's because the power comes on later on, but even so, even when it's only making 150 horsepower, I mean, it still just keeps going and keeps making the power, so it's hard to see why. There's no specific turbo lag to speak of. If we go with the brakes now, yeah, it's got to slow itself down. It's always gonna happen sooner or later. Oh, what? I slightly lost myself. Right, I'm going to go with medium compound because the tyres aren't that wide. For someone who can afford this type of vehicle, it's probably better to have it under control, and they improve comfort. So overall, a better decision. Yeah. I say about the comfort, look how low it is. It's as a coupe might be expected to be. Is that a good thing? I don't know. 118. And we'll go with bigger tyres here. We have successfully made a car much heavier than Mercedes' own. Rahaha. I think if we go with 4-piston here as well, actually. I don't need vented on the back because the back doesn't do the hardest of the braking work, so to speak. And oh, there we go. Don't need to go quite as far. Yeah, provided this is used within its limits, it shouldn't be too bad. I think it's going to understeer, isn't it? Consider decreasing the front brake size. Okay, I'll do that. Are you happy now? No. For rear brake force. Just do it until it thinks it's good. Till it thinks we're all good. Maybe I don't need 4 pistons on the back. It's not like the engine isn't adding too much weight to the front already. I don't know. It really makes me think, though. Maybe I'm reducing the size of these too much. But then it's probably speaking as the perspective that they don't want this car to be slidey and out of control. Hence why on this other menu it might reduce the markets ever so slightly, but they're doing it for good reason. Yeah, I think I only need 3 pistons there. Because it's just getting absurd how small I have to make the brakes in comparison to the front. The brakes suffer from brake fade. Does that fix your problem? Apparently not. Okay. I'm fine with a slight brake fade if it reduces sportiness. It's just the worst of a brake fade, so to speak. There we go. So 265 on the rear. 335 on the front. You see, the rear brakes are basically miniature versions of the front ones, with half the pistons. It does the job. I mean, who can complain? If this tank of a car, on quite narrow tyres actually, is able to get slowed down because of those brakes, then I am more than thankful for them. We'll go, see, it's about 40 kilos heavier, 41.2, let's say, kilos heavier than the Mercedes. And the skid tray, yeah, it's kind of grown with the car, so that overall they like each other. That sounded a bit weirder than I thought it would, but anyway, the car is working. How actually balanced is it? 56% front. Does it say a more in-depth view of that here? 56.1, so yeah. I wouldn't say that's bad. I mean, remember, this is an all-wheel drive vehicle. So, for the balance, yeah, an all-wheel drive vehicle with a massive V8 in the front. So, for the balance to be that good, really isn't such a bad job of it all. Mind, the downside is there's a lot of weight in the body itself of the car. There's a lot of weight there. That's what hurts it. It does 14.7 miles per gallon, which apparently for the class is dreadful. However, is it really? Because I suspect that Mercedes is running on premium fuel and I'm running on standard fuel and making the same power, and then it's a large naturally aspirated engine anyway, so yeah. It's like a muscle car, somewhat. I can see where they're coming from when it's like the pony and muscle market's take to it, but it is all-wheel drive, and it is meant to be a coupe. But I can see the muscle attributes coming through with it. I just used a large V8 instead of the inline 6 that's in the Mercedes. So door handle, we don't want an too older looking one. I think if we go with these, flip them round, they look kind of like Tesla door handles, where they come out when you put your hand near them, or however they work. Either way, they look modern and they work with the rest of the design, which is very coupey. Right, so I think these actually, I've not used these in a while. There's a lot more variants of them. Maybe I got a mod and only recently got it working or something. That looks really goofy, but I think if I position everything right and choose the correct variant, these lights could be the ones. Yes, this looks like something very, I don't know, it looks like something Toyota or Honda would make in the early 2000s, and then hate themselves for it because it's ugly or something. Yes, that's it. What other versions are there? Ooh, I'm not a fan of that. It's probably going to be loved by the motoring press, but I really am not a fan of it in the slightest. They could work. You know what? That one, I think, as much as I'm not a fan of it, that is right in line with what would sell a car today. So I'm going to go with that one. And then for this grill, I'm going to use this as well. Going to flip it the other way up. Kind of make it look angry, I guess. You could say that. and make it larger. Can we move it back? No. Move these forward, I guess, is the way to deal with it. So if we can do that. No, that just doesn't line up. So if I go and add a chrome strip, which I think are on bumper bars, yes, indeed. Maybe it won't be chrome, I don't know. Honestly, I've done this before and it's worked. Not on this precise model of vehicle, but it's worked just to have that across there to kind of finish off the design. I could actually duplicate that, so to speak. And there we go. We can expand that outwards. Interesting. Nope. I might have misscaled that, so that won't do. No, center. Center yourself. Okay, so I think I'm coming to the end of this now. It's not what I'd intended to do when I started out. But it must be said that it works actually as a design. There's kind of a bit of an odd crossover there. There we go. I think I've sorted that out, more or less. There we go. It's a bit aggressive, a bit, how would you say it? Refined? Does this glow? I don't know. Badge. I think these are good. Now I've just got a badge in the middle of nowhere. Right. Okay, so that's not going to work. Put it there though. That's going to work. And there we go, delete that. I think I want something for the grill that looks, for the lower grill, sorry, that looks similar. As in, it has to be kind of aggressive, but not over the top aggressive. Wait a minute, if I'm thinking of this correctly, there was a lot more variants of that. There must have been another, yeah, this one. So not sure exactly where to go, not sure exactly which one to use, but I think these are basically Nissan GTR grills, and there's got to be at least one of them that's going to suit it. There we go. That will potentially work. If we could change that to carbon fibre. Yeah. That works very well now. Carbon fibre instead of cheaper looking bits, and chrome around the edge. So again, get the chrome on these. Hopefully get it to work. As that will be also utilised across this part of grill. There we go. maybe a bit too glammy, if that's even a word. But yeah, it's enough to work. We want people to know that when they get hit by a car, it's one of these. Oh dear. That's not quite fitting. If I rotate that... Wait a minute. There we go. So, it is a weird car. It probably looks Chinese. Not meant as an offence or anything. It's just they copy a lot of cars, and it looks like a copy of something else. I wouldn't say it's much of a coupe, but some people might, in a strange way, like the way it looks. And also, with all that chrome, you will at least know what hits you when you get hit by one. Oh, I've had a brilliant idea for taillights. It's a dreadful and brilliant idea at the same time, let's say. So, you have these ones, which are kind of circular taillights, indeed. It'll probably look far too retro, but once it's done, it's gonna be done. And twin lights there. So is this going to actually Wong? Where are you? Where are you, back button? I know you're hiding somewhere. There. Yeah, that grill is being very awkward. Yeah, so it looks like it's either in or out. You can't have kind of either. Neither. Whoa! How did you get over there? Yeah, it's just like, let me join in the party. I'm sorry. Okay, it's a party of the rear end. It's a party at the back. It's not a party for you. As much as it won't have liked to hear that, it's true. So, there's that as well. Or there's this, which is vaguely more modern. And then we can have an indicator, perhaps. We'll have that. Do. So, should I go with a random bonnet scoop? Of course we should. Ah dear. Why am I doing this? Won't this give hints away? Well, I guess that's why you buy the sport model, to show off, so, you know, nothing wrong with hinting at it. Wink wink nod nod, you couldn't afford my car, kind of thing. So, the car looks a bit strange, quite frankly, from here. We need to add a bumper bar again, as they call them. Not that one though. That one is different. This is the one. And we need to go... Maybe move that one back. Or maybe move these forwards. Do. There we are. It vaguely works now. The chrome vaguely has a purpose. Less could be said about the random badge in the middle. So, if we actually get this and duplicate it, we get the other chrome line here. Why am I making duplicates of it? I have absolutely no idea. There's probably more effective ways to work through it, but I am not someone that does that, clearly. And we'll go and duplicate that on the mirror side. I probably can't bring this forward. I think I tried it at the front. Oh. Maybe it is worth having a duplicate. So... there we go. That works. As the automation badge now kind of actually fits with the design. And it just, I don't know. The way it looks like it's trying to be French. It looks like it's impersonating a French person. So, I think if we mirror those as well. Just look at that. I have a design. Where is the exhaust? No exhaust. You don't open the boot with the exhaust. That would be a mistake you'd regret. So, this should do. I just need a simple handle to go on the back. It's off-center though. Yeah. Okay, now you have to deal with 2 keyholes because it looks symmetrical. Yeah. I could actually integrate them, couldn't I? Nah. Just move them up a little. Or even better still, instead of integrating them, just have them kind of drop down. There are my what do you call it, boot releases. There are many of them. Either that or one's a keyhole and one's a button to open it. I mean, that could work. We do perhaps need some aerodynamics. So, nope. Not that one. We need to get a front lip. And this front lip will be used to provide some downforce on the front end, and on the back we'll have a wing. So we could have a Porsche one, but that just wouldn't fit at all. Whatever this is. Whatever that is, I would think couldn't work because it's far too squared off. Oh yes, proper DTM style wing. So you can go and just sit here, providing far more downforce than anyone could reasonably need on their weekly shopping trip. And basically just scare people that you're a ricer. It looks like a ricer now with that wing on. Oh well, who cares? We'll go see what's on it. Premium infotainment. No, they don't like that. Do they like a standard interior? I mean, it's worth a look just to see if this stuff will work. Apparently not. Not very economical either, this car. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to try and actually save money now. There is, firstly, the costly transmission. Please don't crash my game this time. You didn't, good. Now, yeah, you want at least 6 gears, I get that. But below 6 gears, it doesn't seem to make much difference. If I tighten these up, I can also increase the market value for absolutely free. I mean, how can you not like that? And here is our ugly, ugly car. Let's be honest, it's not pretty. Although I have had an idea. What I did a while ago, it was kind of stupid. I put a 3-valve per cylinder engine header on. However, I should have gone 4-valve cylinder, but just made the engine smaller. I think in turn this will make it work. Yeah, I think I'm happy enough with that. Unless, ooh, Ford, no, not that one. Do they like it when I change the muffler? No. My wallet doesn't like it. I mean, it should be a smooth engine at least. I mean, there's that, but it's a 3.7 litre engine. So it's not that much bigger than the 6-cylinder in the Mercedes. But what it does have is 6 more cylinders. How is the engine bay room? No, actually, the engine bay room is apparently doing quite well. Which is surprising. It doesn't give me any warnings for that at all. I guess because there's enough length in the engine bay and it's not a very wide engine or something. It's definitely not going to be wide at the size. If anything, length would be what you would struggle with, but then the car clearly has length covered. Now, suspension, I've probably spent a bit of money there, haven't I? You'll be telling me that before long. How can I save money here? Well, that's progress, I guess. The market seemed to like it. 118.9. No, too small a difference. Active. So, there we go. 117.7. And that, it is working. The fact is not half bad. Slightly lower than before as well, I think. Okay. How can we get this to work? $118.8. And that lowness is something as well. Very, very low. Extra points for lowness. How is it so light? Oh yes, the engine. Must have saved a lot of weight on the engine. But if that's the case, then I can't have saved that much, will I? Oh, really? 118.8. So I don't know about the transmission. It doesn't seem to be going as quick. It's just quick to 60 though, easily. I would say it's quicker to 60. It's just slow to... It's slow to the top speed. Could perhaps make these narrower, since the engine will be less torquey. $129.6. They like 255s, okay. Whatever you ask for. And the brakes. The front and rear brake for no, just the rear is too high. Okay, can save a bit of weight there. Oh, everything is fixed. No problems at all. It's a perfect car, apparently. When it comes to cost cutting, there is the under trays. I don't know, should I do it? Ooh. Wait a minute, that is not bad. 21.8 miles per gallon, although I guess I did put it on better fuel. So, yeah. That's probably why. I'm going to see if they want that. No. They don't really care if it's sat-nav or infotainment. They just care that it's on there. What about the steering and the damping? It has... Maybe that's where the weight savings are, actually. Maybe the weight savings are in the suspension, because I did convert it from hydro to pneumatic, remember? And that's the thing in itself. 419.8 horsepower. So not quite 420. And it is just under 100 kilos lighter than the Mercedes, yet it still has all-wheel drive. I'm finally thinking I've got something with this. And those indicators look very strange, but anyway, who cares? So, the platform, again, I'll come back to it. Do we want a wiggly wobbly galvanised steel platform? I guess we don't want it to be too uncomfortable, but we could go with a semi-space frame and spend all our money that we just saved. We could do that, or that. No. I was coming here, though, to think about the suspension type. I wonder... 129.8. No, I was wondering if that could somehow be a miraculous... how would you say it? Solution to every problem ever. Double wishbone and multi-link seems good, though. If I do multi-link on the rear, it's more likely to handle the power it's got. So that's a positive, I guess. Send more power to the back. See how they react. Yeah, they're not really sure. They're not really sure, but they seem to like a rear bias. 0.8. Yes, 135. 0.2, 0.3. Okay, so 3169 rear. Front rear, sorry. Power distribution seems pretty good. How about some tyre divide to kind of enhance that? No, for one for the hills when I even mention a tyre divide. They must be symmetrical tyres, you monster! Okay, it was just a suggestion. .7 and we're closer. Although I am not at all happy with where this has gone. And now it's not closer. .4. 6.3. Come on. 6.7. 6.3. Okay, I think I found the point. It's 1.9 seconds slower to 60. There's not much I can do about that. Just the way the car is. It does 22 miles per gallon almost, which is a positive I can put out there right now. However, there's just so much it can do, so much it can't. I mean, it's a saloon. 133.8. Oh, they prefer standard safety. 132.9. Wait a minute. Who cares about safety when there's money to be saved? And weight, more crucially. Yeah. How about that? No. How about adaptive dampers? Costs too much for me. And passive? No. 86.2. So 56 front, I don't see a need to retune the suspension unless something has desperately changed. So leave that on what it was, I think. How has the power got less? Someone's been messing with my engine. And not in a good way. The engine fairies sometimes make it more powerful, but this is unacceptable. So, ignition timing, you can do nothing because, well, quite frankly, you'll mess my engine up if you do something. Closer to the car's weight distribution. Okay. So they say it seems ineffective, which I kind of agree with. I was just looking at the market values for it. So how about 55% rear? That seems to match more closely. Sorry, I'm working out how a slider works. And that's the brake bias, so I'm sorry. I've completely messed it up now. Completely messed up the brake bias. BIOS? Again, my mind does things. It's saying the brake force is high because I have reduced the weight. The front brake force is very high. I can deal with slight brake fade, to be honest. And those are more reasonable sized brakes. Yeah. It is just under 100 kilograms lighter than the Mercedes I'm competing with, while also having all-wheel drive. So the fact that it's perhaps less economical and the fact that it's got ugly looks don't matter. It's got a V12 as well, so it should be extremely smooth. At least for the class. Well, 49.2, that's pretty good. Even if it's not on the hydropneumatic suspension and all that. It's pretty good. So, if we export this car now, we can see how it does in BeamNG. Okay, so here we have the vehicle, and you'll notice that it is visually quite different. I wonder if we can get the indicators to work. Yeah, we can. There we go. Anyway, you'll notice visually it's quite different. That's because I added the pink colour as well as certain carbon fibre bits, just to make it look the part, really. And I also added a downforce under tray. You won't see it or anything, but it's an under tray, and along with the front lip and rear wing, it gives it downforce. It didn't help the markets, but I decided with the grand scheme of what this car is, it kind of needed them. I was going to add mirrors, but I forgot them. Yeah, mirrors are always a thing I forget to add. Thankfully, they're not a crucial component by any means. At least not in this particular context. They are in real life, but not in this particular context. So, yeah. Red calipers as well. I mean, I think that's all there is to go over. Multi-link suspension on the rear. I think I did that when it was recording. Yeah. It's my mind kind of going. Anyway, listen to that V12. Sounds turboed, but it isn't, actually. Let's see how it goes. It would help if I actually learned that this is an automatic before kind of firing the car at the piece of scenery and expecting it to go into manual mode. Whoa. It did slow there. It kind of sounds like a Formula 1 car, which I guess isn't surprising because it's a V12, but it's just so much fun in that way. But it's predictable. It's entirely predictable. It never feels like it's going to be disobedient. Oh, also, I will mention that the acceleration time is better. I don't know why, but when I added the downforce, it got a lot better. It's still a good 0.9 seconds below the Mercedes, but it's better than it was. This is actually a really good rally car. Weight aside, I mean, it does grit thanks to the downforce. I have got it on a 15 kilogram front and 20 kilogram rear amount, so, you know, not the most downforce in the world, but I think enough for this type of vehicle. And it does, oh come on, it does get going. The suspension is what I would expect for this type of vehicle. It's very firm, but it gets the job done. It balances out the vehicle, and you know, you see where I'm going with this. It is able to secure the vehicle, keep it where it wants to go. I mean, it could set a good time. It feels slow, but it could just be that it feels slow because it's entirely predictable. I would say it even feels a little front-wheel drive, even though it's got a rear-wheel drive bias. It isn't very much rear-wheel drive bias, so, you know, it's a pretty symmetrical car, all in all. And the weight balance, as I was saying, isn't dreadful. Oh dear. These bumps are not being kind to the car. Thankfully, because it's got all-wheel drive and wide enough, decent enough tyres, it's able to take it. Actually, considering this is on fairly conventional suspension, I'm surprised that it hasn't taken more of a beating than it has. Oh, come on. Excellent. And you'll see, it did just stabilise itself. Other cars would have bounced off the track, but this one is able to keep its ground. It struggles a little to keep its ground, but it's able to do it, and that is important. Come on. Yeah, it's just this sound, though. It's not what you expect to come from a two-door coupe. And I don't think that's a bad thing, personally. Because it's a good sound. Oh, I kind of pushed that a bit far. It does have a lot of understeer. There's no getting around the case. It's an understeery car, but the predictability more than makes up for the understeer, in my opinion. Because you know it's not going to snap on you. As I was saying, it kind of feels front-wheel drive, but with less understeer perhaps than a front-wheel drive might have. With less wheel spin than a front-wheel drive would have on this power level. So all in all, that's good. Floor it, and hope. And it even stabilises there. So, what I have called the Luxury Chicken DTM Coupe has actually done amazingly well. I mean, I wouldn't have expected it, but yeah. The car is just far, far better than I would have expected it to ever be. It's just a thoroughly well thought out modern vehicle. If I'd even locked the differentials, I could have perhaps got more performance out of it on the off-road area, which is this whole track basically. I mean, it's not bad in the slightest. You could tow a trailer with this or anything just thanks to its all-wheel drive system. It's a bit too Audi of me to have gone down the all-wheel drive route, but I'm happy. I mean, even if this car is unconventional, it has done incredibly well. It's the third quickest vehicle, in fact, on the leaderboard. It is, after the tuner hatch and 3,250 horsepower car, the third quickest. So yeah, I mean, the tuner hatch was just absurd. I mean, I don't even know how on earth it got that time. I think it stole it. I think it literally broke an entry and just stole the time from some supercar or something, because no hatchback should handle that well. But yeah, this is the first kind of standard saloon to be in the top 3. Before it was in a while at least, it's the first regular saloon. The Not K Turbo is the car it's just above, and I mean within 0.1 of a second of, and that car was also very, very nice. So, all in all, yeah, not too much to say. We won't be putting the 3,250 horsepower engine in this. It would result in an uncontrollable monster, but yeah, I'll show you as well, though. I'll show you I weren't just cheating and using ESC. While you can see it, it just grips. There's nothing to it, and the stability is there when you need it. It's actually got a very surprising level of refinement to it when you think about it. When you think of how low this is to the ground, just look at how it's filtering out all the little undulations and bumps, and I think that's really what helps it get round the course, as well as naturally the fact that the engine is just lovely. It's not the most powerful thing in the world, but it's so linear, it's so predictable. You know when you floor it, you know you've floored it, because it just smoothly gets up to that 400 horsepower, 420 horsepower even, and it goes. So with that being said, we don't have a new leader, but we have a new fastest kind of front wheel drive or supercar. And with that being said, I can now say goodbye until another day.